MMA strength and conditioning in about 60 seconds. First thing, try and build a base. Make sure you've got good technique and strong core and decent flexibility before you do start going for like 1 rep maxes and stuff. Make sure you've got good foundation there. Second thing, the SAID principle, specific adaptations to imposed demands. If you want to get fit for MMA, best thing to do is MMA. That'll get you kind of just doing loads of sparring sessions and loads of rolling and wrestling. That'll get you kind of 85% of the way as fit as you can get. And these little add-ons will make a difference at the highest level, but your foundation of conditioning is basically your rolling and your sparring and your pad work, things like that. Train movements, not muscles. You also want to replicate the speed at which you want to work. So if you go like really heavy, let's say you're really heavy bench press and it's dead slow, that's not recruiting the kind of the whole movement and the whole movement pattern that you want for like a punch or a takedown or whatever. That's why bands are good. I've said that there are some exceptions in that. So although with Olympic lifts, they're great for building explosiveness and explosive power in your hips. It doesn't replicate a movement as such, but it's still worth doing to get explosive power. And plyometrics are a big thing as well. Again, makes a difference in someone who can do a takedown like GSP. Technique, yes, but also the speed and the power. Rather than strength, it's more about power, I'd say. And plyometrics are probably the best for that, but they do come with a high risk of injury, so just be aware of that. Something called the stretch shortening cycle they develop, and also they have a positive impact on your tendons in terms of the stiffness and how you can kind of maintain the cons of just the kind of rebound effect, if you like. And periodize your work. So I used to kind of build up strength, and then 6 weeks out from a competition or a fight, I do 1-set training. There is evidence to show that if you do 1-set training, it can develop strength but also maintain strength. So say you can bench 100 kilograms and you'll normally do 3 sets twice a week. Just do 1 set, and then your technique work and your endurance work is a priority. You're just going to maintain your strength. You may even get stronger by doing that as long as you go to failure, because 1 set to failure in terms of strength gains, there are some studies, it does vary a bit, that show that 1 set can be just as effective as 2 or 3 sets per body part. What I used to do is warm up and then do like 1 or 2 sets of deadlifts, and that was it before like a MMA session. And then the next day I might do like 1 or 2 sets of plyometric press-ups and 1 set of bench, and then do me Thai boxing session. Especially if you're working, you don't have to have separate sessions for each, I don't think. But do what works for you. My recovery's terrible, so I found it better to do it in blocks. So a warm-up, 5-10 minutes of weights, and then my technical work and endurance work. Yeah, I think that's it really. I'd say altitude masks, it used to be a controversial thing. They don't work by replicating altitude. That's like a marketing thing. They kind of respiratory muscle resistance training, and there is some evidence to show they work. I had one years ago because I had asthma. Yeah, so altitude masks and the power breathers, they do work, but they don't replicate altitude. They just strengthen your respiratory muscles. That's 4 minutes, so I failed with the minute, but there we are.